Just another video where I hype up my townie makeovers. You lot have been asking me to show off all of the townie makeovers that I have done so far for my personal save file, including the outfits that they wear. So in this video, we're going to go over another 6 packs / worlds that have townies in them, all the way from Get Famous through to Eco Lifestyle. Starting off with the one and only Vanessa Jiang, who in my eyes is still the aspiring actress. However, unpopular opinion, I might actually get cancelled for this one. I got rid of the blue hair. I'm sorry. It's just, I wish we had better, just honestly more of a choice of unnatural hair colors in The Sims 4, and instead I went for this really light blonde. I just thought it brightened her up a little bit. She still has the fun elements of her fashion. I actually went really hard on her makeup, which is why I zoom into it a lot. Even though I don't like the brand, I will say the MAC collab actually is pretty good for throwing in pops of color here and there to your Sims. The Kardashians of The Sims 4, we obviously have the Orange Bailey Moon. Why am I saying Orange Bailey Moon? Oh my god, that kid is just so iconic that I just refer to them as that. The Thorn Bailey, oh my goodness, Bailey Moon, Moon Bailey, I think it's Bailey Moon household. Jeez Louise. Thorn Bailey, he's an asshat. I don't like Thorn. I made him bearable. His presence doesn't annoy me based on the way that he looks anymore, but he pretends to write all his own songs. But Octavia is the brains behind the operation. I like to think that she is the one who writes all the songs, but then Thorn takes credit for it, which I'm actually really mad about. She's gonna expose him in an autobiography years down the line. She deserves more than Thorn Bailey. And then obviously their son, Orange Bailey Moon, who is probably the sickest kid ever. Absolutely love his fashion. I did go for the Nepo baby brand. He just wears an awful lot of designer stuff. Although I do like to think he has more of his mum's traits. He's pretty outgoing. He wants to be a social butterfly. I feel because he is the kid of two famous people, everyone thinks that he's gonna be up himself, but he's actually just really down to earth and honestly just wants to make friends. He doesn't particularly like being famous. The icon, the queen, that is Judith Ward. You know when someone is iconic in my save file when I struggle to give them outfits. So I haven't finished her, but I do absolutely love the classic look that she has. Her face, I don't know how I did it, but I popped off so hard. She also reminds me of Lucinda Light from Maths Australia, and trust me, I love her even more for it. With most of these celebrities, minus Octavia and Vanessa, I just felt I made them more palatable because they show up in my game nonstop and they just demand attention from all of my Sims. So this is Holly Alto. I was slightly inspired by, I think, her Sims 3 version. I looked her up, but then I was mostly inspired by the fact that she is a classical music artist. I imagine her singing opera, and so she has this very fancy look about her, which I absolutely love. She's a little bit out there. She's kind of this quirky girl that we don't really see very often, I feel, in The Sims 4, but I actually really like the look of her, and I'm more interested in her now than I ever was originally. Brittany Cho, I absolutely made way more palatable. She was for myself. I was feeling selfish. I was Brittany is one of the most annoying celebrities in Get Famous. She crops up everywhere. She hangs around like a bad smell, exactly like Eliza Pancakes. So I was like, what if I just turn her into like this feminist comedic icon who wears like a lot of monochrome? I adore her. Like, genuinely, I would buy any magazine that she was the front cover of. Is he fabulous? Yes, he absolutely is. Of course, Izzy was very much inspired by the Sims mobile version of Izzy. I definitely see Izzy as a fashion stylist or like a fashion photographer. Honestly, probably more of like a stylist, and I absolutely love that for her. I do apologize for the shiny suit, but it's like a career unlock or just some like get famous unlock that you can't really get unless you have a creator sim unlocker sim added to your household. So I couldn't actually find it afterwards, and I didn't want to risk getting rid of it. So the sparkly suit stayed, which is a little bit of a travesty when you are a style influencer. I feel like I definitely had something in the back of my head when it came to the lore of Dustin Broke. Obviously, again, just like Dirk Dreamer and the Pleasance, etc., these Sims were all available in The Sims 2. So I kind of was a little bit inspired by his Sims 2 version, but he was actually a teenager there. So I took like the original Dustin Broke of The Sims 4 and kind of meshed him with the Sims 2 version. I can't remember what backstory I gave him though. Like, I was thinking probably music career, like looking at the outfits that I gave him. But now I just like to think that he is like a hacker and kind of like a criminal, like a little bit seedy, but in a way that he just like wants to live comfortably. As if that excuses it. Relatable king. Dirk Dreamer was done so dirty in The Sims 4, and I will stand by that. He was such a little cutie in The Sims 2. I absolutely adore him. So obviously I was very heavily inspired by his Sims 2 version, and he is as adorable now as he was back then when he was a teen. I just want to like squeeze his cheeks. When you played him in The Sims 2, like his wants could either lead to him wanting to get into the business career or the athletic career. So they kind of kept those traits for him in The Sims 4, but instead of being in the business career, I have decided that he followed through with the athletic, like fitness grind. Used to play basketball, got a little bit injured, so then was like, F this, I'm not playing basketball anymore. I'm gonna go injure myself more, and I want to go explore like Mount Komorebi. I want to be sick at snowboarding, and my life dream is to scale Mount Komorebi whilst also vlogging it, which I honestly think is a sick little pipe dream. Kayla is actually one of my most recent makeovers. She is pretty much the gym personnel in Del Sol Valley. She is a lot of the time a personal trainer, so I ran with that. She is a personal trainer to the stars. Her and Penny Pizzazz were like school childhood friends and have kept in touch, and Penny obviously sets her up with like all of the people that she knows as their personal trainer. So that's why she has so many athletic outfits. She also hates wearing jeans. If you're ever going to do townie makeovers, give them like little personality quirks. Kayla Fleming never wears jeans in my games. Hates the feeling of them. Moving on to The Sims from Strangerville. Oh, I'm just now realizing that I like didn't include Erwin in this, and I should have done. So I'm gonna add Erwin in at the end. I keep forgetting about those Sims who like technically don't live in the world, but still like ship with the pack, which by the way, Discover University, we do not go into those Sims. Why am I talking about this when the literal love of my life is on screen? I absolutely adore Jess. Also, this jacket that she's wearing right now, that is not a leather jacket. I always say we need better leather jackets in the game, and everyone's like, you should use that one, wherever pack it came from. That is not a leather jacket. If you actually look at the fabric in Create Sim, this is a hill I will die on. It's not leather. I know it's like shaped like a leather jacket, but it is not a leather jacket. If they could literally just give that to us, but in a leather fabric, I would be so happy. But Jess, I pretty much kept the same. I mean, she's a badass. She is a soldier, but I like to think she is one with the aliens in Strangerville. She is one with the mother plan. Then we have her husband, Dylan, who is just a little cutie patootie. He reminds me of a mouse. Like, whenever I look at him, he kind of reminds me of Milo from Atlantis, but this man is a rat in the best way possible. He has such like rat-like features, but I love him so, so much. Another stay-at-home dad. We are here for the stay-at-home dad representation. He homeschools Christy. He absolutely loves like reading books to her and putting on like all these silly voices. And then Christy, she is actually active, like that's her skill, but her one is actually to be creative. And I like to think that that is kind of driven by Dylan and like all his funny voices. I like to think that she maybe one day wants to be a illustrator for kids' books, which I so wish that you could get more into illustration, be it like comic books, or instead of writing them, you could actually draw for them. George Cahill is so deeply embedded in my heart. I absolutely love this man. I obviously added some like scarring to his face as if like his plane came down. Obviously that's like the wreckage that he lives in, but he was a little bit beaten up by that. Because he is actually paranoid, I have also added a dog in for him. So he has a little German Shepherd who's actually called Ace 380, kind of like the plane A380. I just wanted to point out that detail because I don't think I'll ever do anything as smart as that in any other townie makeover that I ever do. There's honestly not much to say about Ted and Meredith Roswell. I haven't really changed either of them. I kind of wanted to still stick with like a Western look for them, and I don't have many Create Sim assets that allow me to do that. So they do look like they belong in a Western film, but I think that suits them. They just like role play. Which, by the way, can the kids of today stop saying that I was born in the 1900s? I've never felt more archaic. There's my favorite trust fund babies. We have the eclectic arts household. One, I just love that Maxis were like, yeah, we're gonna name this household after electronic arts. Like, that to me is just iconic in of itself. I imagine these lot just like lazing about their house, spending their parents' money on too much takeaway when they have the munchies. You know, that's exactly why they moved to Strangerville. They were like, okay, well, this town seems like pretty abandoned, so I reckon we could get a really big house for like pretty cheap, and it's pretty deserted, so our neighbors aren't gonna like throw a fit when we decide to have parties. They also just like go around like tagging stuff and graffitiing things. They really just use the desert as their inspiration. It's like they are at Coachella, or what's the other one? Burning Man? Feel like Burning Man is more up their alley, to be fair, when you look at the eclectic arts household. But I just had so much fun with these three. This is a household, maybe not so much Leslie. I am so sorry to this woman, but she is absolutely the most forgettable one out of this household, but specifically Mark and Alice. I don't know what it is about Alice's in The Sims 4 that always makes them super, super creative, but those two specifically, I had so much fun with them. I was just like, what would these rich kids who are pretending to like live this hippie lifestyle out in the desert wear? And I feel like I got it so spot on. The reason I missed Erwin is because he's not actually listed in the households. You actually have to go into your game and then CAS.full edit mode on him. So Owen, don't worry, I got you. I was very much inspired by Abby, whimsy alien, who has an absolutely incredible Sim story legacy. I'm gonna link that actually in the description down below because, like I said, Abby definitely heavily inspired my Erwin. And I was also inspired by the theory that he is technically like Eliza Pancake's either long lost brother or an alien clone of Eliza Pancakes. And I love that theory. So they definitely look similar in my save file. We're starting to move into the territory now where I definitely haven't finished a lot of these townies. So I'm not gonna even include the ones that I just like have not made over, because this is about my townie makeovers. So first up we have Oleana. Obviously we are now in Sulani, which came with Island Living for The Sims 4. With Oleana, I just wanted to make her like super active. I also love the blend of like masculine and feminine fashion that she wears. I absolutely love her style so much. I think she's so sick, and I can see why she has like as kid as cool as Tane. We'll kind of get into Tane's backstory a little bit, because I definitely feel like he is inspired a lot by his mum. Liliana, I am so sorry, but I've barely made her over. I'm not 100% happy with the way that she looks, so she's one who is definitely a work in progress. But for Tane, when we first started making him over, I was like, let me check out the Sims wiki, which is something I do very often to like find out like what traits they have and what skills they have, just to kind of get some inspiration to pull from about like how I see them growing up, especially for kids. And all it said was Tane is a child who goes to school. So I was like, okay, great, thank you. That is so informative, actually, Sims wiki. But then I actually decided to base his whole personality off it. So I can definitely see him running like a community center when he grows up, and he also like teaches kids about the environment, how to save Sulani, and also about animals. And therefore I can definitely see Elsa Bjergsen going on like a trip at some point to Sulani, and then those two having like a whirlwind romance, and she's just like, F it, I want to stay here the way that Liliana decided to stay with Oleana. Oop, I meant Layla, not Liliana. Alika and Mele are two Sims that I really wish they had done more with. Sulani in general, I think they could have played it like eco lifestyle and kind of had like a good and a bad guy that kind of pushed this difference between what they see Sulani as. And I like to think that Alika is staying on the islands purely for money, wants to gentrify the area, create like private beaches for the rich and famous, also like build massive spas, which is obviously disrupting the environment and polluting it. Mele is definitely just like in it for the money. She's like, buy me fancy clothes and I'll make you look good. She's basically his publicist. I mean, there's really not much to say about Makoa. Kialoa is that's my man. I need to just stake my claim. Like, I have loved him from the moment that I ever saw him, and now that I just kind of put my own little stamp on him, I love him even more. You can see the thirst that I have for this man purely in like the outfits that I chose for him. I was like, sir, please, not to objectify you, but feel free to show off your legs or your chest or whatever you fancy, like as much as you want. I haven't actually made over his wife or Dwayne yet, but I did give Nani a little bit of a makeover, and she is just so flippin' adorable. She's a little cutie. I treat toddlers the same way as I do kids in townie makeovers, where I age them up to be a young adult, mold their facial features and stuff like that, and then age them back down, and then give them their clothes. Oof, Realm of Magic. Probably the hardest Sims to honestly make over. I absolutely love the way Minerva looks, but I never know how to dress these Sims. I'm like, maybe I just do it all in Realm of Magic stuff. I made over Gemma like a wee little bit and Daryl, but the Charm family they were definitely one of the hardest. They're kind of just like a plaster that you need to rip off. I was just like, at one point, I was like, I just need to try and make over these fucking townies. Now, this is a sim who is completely unrecognizable. This is Tomax. He doesn't look anything like his original. Can you tell I was on my Bly Manor BS? He is like the spitting image of Rahul Kohli. I just wanted to make him as soon as I started rewatching it, and I honestly absolutely love the way that Tomax turned out. He just seems like a gentle giant, and I'm obsessed with him. Although, unfortunately, I haven't got around to making over Grace yet. It wouldn't be Realm of Magic without all the sages. Morgan, I went heavy on the they, them, heavy on the non-binary, the fluidity in their clothes and their fashion. Actually love the way that they turned out. I think there's like such a nice kind of mix of what they wear. I also absolutely love the sage tattoos on their foreheads. I will actually try and find the creator of those because I just think they make the sages look so sick. You probably can't really see it that well, but they all have like the sigil in the middle of their heads. Obviously, Elphaba's is purple, considering Elphaba is also purple. I also added the like alien tattoos like up her arms in purple as kind of like a chaotic, like mischievous magic has sort of like backfired as it flows through her fingers. Also used the BB Rexa outfit, which I never ever thought I would use on a sim. I was struggling with what Simeon was gonna wear, so I dipped after the first one, but don't worry, one day my plant daddy will look how he is meant to. Then we got the Brychester townies kicking it off with little Cam Fletcher. I mean, there's not really much to say about Cam. I kept all of his interests and hobbies kind of the same. He's in Foxbury. I imagine he's part of robotics. Like, he is this little nerd who I imagine like welcomes you on your first day of uni. Honestly, I feel like probably one of your fan favorites. Whenever I ask about like sims and like baby daddies and stuff and like who you romance, a lot of people say Cameron Fletcher. He is an underdog for sure, but I just kind of wanted to keep this like bubbly, like colorful kind of fashion with him. He also just wears a lot of stuff that actually came in Discover University. Definitely went through like numerous kind of experiments when it came to Rowan Elderberry. I kind of want him to be like a little bit of a nerd, so in some of his outfits he dressed like really vintage, and then in others I feel like I played it so safe. But I think he's unfinished, so I think that's what the more safe outfits are. I just don't think I've like focused on him, but I definitely want him to be like into vintage shopping and like thrifting, especially because he lives with like his grandparents, so I imagine them like handing stuff down to him. The one and only Angela and Lilith Pleasant were also in Discover University. Obviously, just like the boys from Get Famous, I went back to the Sims 2 versions and had a cheeky little gander at their fits. I absolutely hate Angela's formal wear. I don't know why I gave her that like blazer. I think I was going for like the business casual that we all used to wear in like the 2010s. I also went for like 2000s makeup. I gave her like foundation on her lips and also blue eyeshadow. She is my horse girl and she is damn proud of it. She's very like preppy, wears an awful lot of pink, but yeah, I wanted them to kind of look like their Sims 2 versions. I feel like originally they didn't look like either of their parents, so I also had their parents up when I was making them. And then obviously Lilith is the complete other end of the color spectrum. Don't ask me why I put her in a top hat for her formal wear. You won't get an answer from me. I just thought it looked kind of cool. We don't really have a lot of like steampunk stuff in the game, so I feel like a top hat is kind of sometimes a way to show that, but she is obviously extremely gothic. She wears an awful lot of fishnets. I actually have a lot of fishnet accessories. I have fishnet socks. I also have a lot of fishnet undershirts. I think we need some of those like layering pieces in the game officially, because I would use those like fishnet undershirts all the time if we had them. I just don't know if there's a way for them to add them. I feel like there is, considering custom content creators do it, but they use the like glove slot, which is fine, I guess, if you're not wearing gloves, but it could probably not work so well with like other features. Becca, I don't know if I'm 100% happy with her. She's kind of like a jock, and that is really her whole personality. I haven't really given too much thought to her. I think I wanted to go short hair, but then she just started looking like Nina. And I don't know if that's the vibe that I want to stick with, but Julia stole my whole ass heart. I absolutely love Julia, right? I wanted to go very like geek chic with Julia. She's all about like nerd brain, like getting good grades. I actually think she wants to be a Renaissance sim, so she just like wants to like apply herself to so many skills. I love my overachiever, and I love her geek chic. I don't know. I feel like geek chic is such like an easy fashion to achieve in the like official stuff that we have in The Sims 4, but then they don't really do it that often. It's bizarre. I have absolutely no loyalties to the Harris household. We're now onto the eco lifestyle townies. I have actually made over Jeb. I did that in like a separate video during high school years. I just haven't actually added him in to my townie save file yet. But I did make over his little brother Gideon. I mean, I don't really have a story for Gideon. He likes red. That's pretty much the story. If we had firefighters in The Sims 4, he would probably grow up to be one, but unfortunately we don't. Well, we do, but like you can't work as a firefighter, which I miss so much. Ambitions. Ugh, I miss it. Surprisingly, I've only recently made over Beth Sterling. I just feel like she was a little bit too iconic for me to touch. She kind of stressed me out a little bit because I was like, I just don't think I'm gonna like be able to give her justice. And then I downloaded this hairstyle and I was like, that's made for Beth. Like, she is kind of this like green eco inventor, and these buns just like fit that vibe so well. And as soon as I downloaded it, I was like, I need to make her over, and I absolutely love the way that she turns out. She actually has some of my favorite like pieces that I've ever put together, and honestly most of them are in-game stuff. I used to use a lot of custom content like when I first started doing these townie makeovers, but since then I feel like a lot of the kits specifically have been quite strong. Don't get me wrong, I still use like a lot of custom content. You saw it just on Jules a second ago with like the sheer top of like things that we definitely don't officially have within the game, and that's kind of now what I use CC for. I use custom content as kind of like a supplement to fill those holes that we are missing. I would love to make a video going through my custom content of like custom content that I officially would love to see in the game to like fill those missing gaps in Create a Sim. But Jules is just like her gay little boyfriend, and I love that for them. They are so cool. They're definitely like a polyam couple. They also just like continue to inspire each other because they're both like very creative, but she's like more in the science way and he's like more in the fashion way. For Knox Greenberg, I obviously definitely wanted to stick with his style. Luckily, we have an awful lot of stuff in Create a Sim that just feels like repurposed, that he may have potentially found it in a dumpster and then like patched it up. The eco lifestyle jeans, I've actually used them an awful lot in townie makeovers, and they were an asset that I didn't honestly really pay that much attention to, but I love the like bold stitching on them. Blossom, so cute. Absolutely love the way that my makeover of Blossom turned out. I haven't like completed everything yet. I think I am just gonna have her wear like long dresses and stuff. Turns out making over a sim that you made originally with just like eco lifestyle stuff and base game stuff is actually much harder because I already know like their personalities inside and out. Like I made them, you know? But then trying to like get that with like the stuff that we have without being overwhelmed is also really difficult, and I do not like Mary currently. I need to change her because I'm not happy with her. She really suffers from those like spiky like jowls and like chin that elders suffer from in The Sims 4, and it's pissing me off. Finally, of course, we have my little lesbians. We have Tina Tinker and her wife. I really love the way that they came out. Like, Tina is so flipping cute. Again, I don't think I finished with all of their outfits, but I'm liking the way that it is currently going. And then obviously Olive is our little sad beige baby. Probably, especially for a sad beige baby, one of the kids that has like the most personality. I kind of love that she's creative, but also at the end of the day is a sad beige baby. I feel like they definitely raised her just like talking to her like you would an adult, and she's like super smart because of it. She is just like the epitome of a lesbian couple kid. Not like that couple that I've seen recently where one of them just like doesn't talk to their child. She's actually the opposite. Her mothers have not stopped yapping to her since the day she was born. There's phase 2 of all of my townie makeovers. Just like the last part, I'm sorry that I can't like show every single custom content creator. I will try and get back to you in the comments if there's like anything specific where you're like, oh my god, I need this in my game. I will try and find that information for you. Just please don't expect it like straight away, because I have 18 gigabytes of custom content and it's hell, honestly. I love it, but it is definitely hell. I think out of this lot, probably the Strangerville townies have like my whole ass heart. I just love them very much, but I would love to hear some of your faves. Have any of these inspired you in your future endeavors of townie makeovers? Thank you all so much for tuning in once again. Let me know if you're still enjoying these videos. We still have 2 more parts to go. We've got another 6 worlds and then I think another 5 worlds. Obviously, the further we get into it, there are like some packs that I haven't really focused on like all that much. There may not be townie makeovers that you're expecting to see, but at some point in the future, once I have like maybe finished everyone or I have like more Sims to put into a video, I will also cover those as well. But I appreciate you all and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.